you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hey friends, Krystle here. Before we start the show, I wanted to let you know about the extra tools that the Human Design and Astro Club has for you. That's here to empower you to live the life you have always dreamed of. Now, we have a free guide on tips and tricks to honoring your strategy and authority. We also have a language manual to your true self that's here to help you understand the key terms and more in human design. And we just came out with our brand new monthly forecast, the Program Plus, which is a detailed overview of the entire month through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot that comes with a monthly calendar and also a guidebook. Now, if you have children or if you want to nurture the little you, we also have a children's class called Nurture Your Child Through Their Design. And our most popular classes are our variable mini classes. They are bite-sized, detailed, self-paced classes on the first two variables of the Radical 4 transformations. And we're always sharing new educational resources, exclusive classes, and more over on our website, humandesignastro.com. Find all of these classes, guides, and our website and more in the description down below. Now let's head on over to the show. Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. I'm Krystle.
And I'm Leah.
And this is the podcast you've been waiting for.
I don't know. Why am I sweating?
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like 30 degrees outside too. I'm like sweating right now.
Why?
Energy sweats, I think. I get those a lot.
Is it like when you're being watched?
No, it's not all the time. It's like not every time we record, if anyone is wondering that. It's like
I'm wondering.
Oh, you are. No, it's like, I don't know, when I have a lot of things going on or I feel like anxious about stuff, usually it like accumulates into energy sweats. That's what I call them anyway.
Yeah. No, I feel like that's like down at the root. Because when I get really like that area gets really turned on, it generates, like if you think
It
it's reaching
does.
for the solar, I mean it's reaching for the sacral, also for
Yeah.
the solar plexus. But yeah, it's got like three, like, you
It's like
know,
fire.
kind of three pressurized areas, because
Mhm.
it is and it's a pressure zone, like
Mhm.
reaching for the spleen, reaching for the sacral, reaching for the solar plexus. So I really do feel like that's where
Yeah.
we
I
generate
picture it
sweat.
as like being a fireplace, like I've stoked the fireplace and now I'm like generating all of this heat in my body. It's interesting.
Yeah. So I'm feeling bluesy,
Mm.
feeling melancholy, had some experiences which is like makes sense with the transits right now, because it's all about experience, and we're going to be going through a roller coaster this week with the full moon, with that actual energy. So it's like I feel like it kicked off this last week, which we're currently in the previous week right now. And so it's like looking at the transits for this time, I kind of like recognize that this could potentially happen because it was a potential.
Yeah.
But there's multiple potentials, there's multiple dimensions, multiple timelines we can be in with all of these aspects.
Yeah.
And you know, I was hoping for the better version, but
Right.
but we do have Mars retrograde.
Mm,
So, and it's transiting or retrograding in my sixth house of work and routines. And it's definitely shown me where I'm putting in my energy or even like force where it's not getting the reciprocity that it deserves.
hmm
And so I have had to let myself feel those feelings of rejection. And I've been really in full contemplation since I've been in the Venus sequence with Richard Rudd. I've been in full contemplation of my purpose in the Venus sequence, which is your unconscious earth, is your purpose in the Venus sequence. And this is really the Venus sequence is really what unlocks your heart, and the heart's connected to, relationships and also the material world and prosperity. And so when I think about this, and we talk about this, but the earth is really like the way we materialize,
hmm
right? So it's really important for people to look at their unconscious and conscious earth, because it is really the way that we can hold that actual energy. It's dense, right? If you think of the earth, it's this density. I always like to watch, honestly, gates that travel through the earth, because then I can recognize exactly what the flavor and what the actual gate looks like, so that we can, and that's why I do a lot of visual stuff, because when you can see it happening in the real world, you can see it happening in the collective, you can see it happening in your personal life. That's when you can actually grab it,
hmm
and you can actually use it, and you can actually know when it's coming in and out. And even once you recognize it in one aspect, you can see it move through the other ones. And so I'm just in full contemplation of my purpose is gate 25, which is a love gate. My incarnation cross is the vessel of love. So obviously my unconscious earth is going to be in relation to love in some way.
hmm hmm
And the gate 25, and I see the 25 so clearly. We talk about it with the shrooms. When I
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it with it's, I can see where the 25 is in literally everything. It is the thread that runs through its sacred geometry. 25 is sacred geometry. Like, you can see, when you can see the thread that runs through every single fiber, every single molecule, every single tiny speck that's on this planet, when you can recognize that we are just pieces of the light. I feel like that's why I had to work at the Kabbalah Center for 3.5 years, because that was fucking gate 25.
hmm
Kabbalah really shows you, the first place they talk about in Kabbalah 1 is the Big Bang. And it's like, when you can see gate 25, which is universal love, people, if you didn't know what that was, you can finally find acceptance. That is what the how Richard explains almost, the gift is acceptance, and the shadow is restriction and constriction of the heart. And I watch myself all the time, and I'm doing it now, and I'm doing it with awareness, because sometimes I think sometimes it's a requirement. It's a requirement to cut cut things off from your heart, when it's like you can only go through so much, but it's then allowing the light to come in after that. It's
Yeah.
like, so you have to start in the shadow, right? But
hmm
once you can for me, once I can accept the shadow of the restriction, I can accept my innocence, that the innocence of this gate that it's connected to, the word innocence, it's that, if you look at a baby, for example, they are the purest form of source, purest form, if you want to use the word God, whatever word you want to use, it's all the same thing. It's like when you can see it and see that, and that's why people have such obviously an affinity to anything that was just born, because what people don't realize, it's the direct connection, the most purest form of source. And it's
Yeah.
the realization that we were once that, and that we are connected to each aspect of that. And so I've been in full contemplation of this acceptance, trying to stay in that like it's almost like a softening and a surrendering that I feel like that gate requires you to do, so that you can be in the fullness of it. The core of that is love, which is the core of that is beauty. Everything is beauty, not visual beauty, like the essence of what beauty actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry I went on that tangent. That was gate 24, by the way. I just want to let everybody know. I've been doing that. You've been seeing me do that. We did that
Mm-hmm.
on our last support call. I just go, something turns on. Well, it's gate 24 and it's currently in the north node, the returning. It gets turned on, and then I go off on this long, mindful, rational thought realization that comes to me. And I did it at that I did an in-person um like event where I was able to speak at, and I I watched the whole table with everyone's mouths dropping open with what I was saying. I didn't even know what I was saying. I was like, could somebody record this? Because I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I just said there, but it
Mm-hmm.
from the looks on your faces, it looks like it might have been something good.
Yeah. Because like once you say it, it's gone.
Yes, for me,
Mm.
I can't hold it. Sometimes I can hold aspects of it, or it'll come back around in probably like a new way. It's also like the spleen. I feel like the
Yeah.
spleen's really working in that moment too.
Right. It just comes once.
Yeah. So, what about you? Sorry, I went on that really
No,
long
it's fine.
philosophical Sagittarius tangent.
Um, it's been a weird week too. Corinna, my youngest, is an emotional projector, and she had a really tough day on Monday. Um, she, like any kid doesn't want to go, like we parents, adults, people going to work, we don't want to go back to work after vacation. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just shitty. She didn't want to go back to school after
Mm-hmm.
vacation. Like no shocker there. But it was a real big struggle. She wouldn't get on the bus, so I had to bring her to school. And then she wouldn't get out of the car. So it was this long, drawn out morning and really draining for me because I didn't know how to get her to a place where she could come to a place of calm because
Mm-hmm.
she was just stuck on a low. She was stuck in like, I want to stay home. I don't want to go anywhere. And so then I got stuck on her low. And it just kind of is like interesting to see when I get trapped in like her wave, or I can get trapped
Mm-hmm.
in because we have
Mm-hmm.
two emotionals in my house. I can get really easily sucked into their waves. And I've been good about not getting sucked into her wave, but sometimes it just comes on so strong. There's
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in this. Like, how do I get myself out of it? So maybe I can help her find some clarity because if I'm attached to it too, it's like twice as big as it was before because we're both sitting there. So that took me a little while to get out of. And then I had some cleanings this week. So that kind of helped me like get out of that headspace. But now toward the end of the week, I'm kind of feeling back in that place. Not with her, but just with myself. So I'm doing the same thing. Like I want to look into the gene key thing too, because I haven't had time to really look into that. And I feel like this might be the time to do that and see
Mm-hmm.
what mine is, because I'm really curious just from what you've been saying. And then us talking with Kayla about the gene keys is just really interesting to me. So um, I don't know. Today I got I got these little clear quartz crystals. I'm throwing them everywhere that I'm going to put onto a crystal grid. I'm clearing them on a
Oh,
bunch
that'll
of
help.
selenite. Yeah, so I'm excited to use that. I needed a few of those
Yeah.
little tiny guys. So spent
I
$5 on myself today.
Oh, well, that's a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a deal.
What a good.
Um, so I realized that some people might be new here.
Yeah.
So welcome. If you are new here, we're so happy you found us. You can also check us out depending on where you found us. We're either streaming on all places that stream podcasts, or you can find us on YouTube and you can
Mhm.
watch us and see me in my new hat because I had to wear it today because I just like I just need protection right now.
Yeah.
I'm not in a good mental space, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what the program is because you probably, if you're new here and you just decided to listen to this episode, or you saw that it's a full moon, which we're going to get into shortly on what that's going to be about. The program is the fucking Matrix. Okay? The program is the movie, the episode that we are tuning into for the week. The transits are being influenced. The transits are these tiny subatomic particles called neutrinos that are being streamed from the stars that get bump into the planets, get imprinted by the planets, and then they get then transmitted and we get to receive them and go through the flavor of what the planet and that um almost like that density because a neutrino is mass, it holds mass, and so we get to go through that experience and it mutates us, it transforms us, and so each week we get to tune into a new program. So it's like, what episode are we tuning into this week? Is it a drama? Maybe it's a dramedy. I feel like this week has been kind of like a psychological thriller for me.
Yeah.
That's well, this last week. And I feel like
Yeah.
it might be pouring into this next week too. I think these 2 weeks are probably going to be like psychological thrillers and also a lot of like that heart, like that
Yeah.
heavy breathing, like gasping for air, like what is happening? We've lost direction at this point, right? The direction
Mhm.
gauge just left the nodes, and now we're just like, holy shit, I'm being faced with these past experiences through the south node right now, going through this like psychological thriller of this almost like we're getting a review of like our old movie,
Mhm.
and we're being asked to find a new way. That's what the North Node is trying to show us. There's an actual new way. There's a way out, right? The mind's saying there is a way out, but you're going to have to surrender to it first. Um, so that's what the program is. And then also, we just dropped the program plus, which is an accelerated, more expanded version of the program that is only for $11.99. That is an hour long audio that's just like the podcast, but actually way more in depth. We go through what the gates actually are, what the names are, what the transmissions are, and how they're impacting different parts of your life throughout the month, and whether they're going to be in more of a higher energy where you can utilize it, grab it, or maybe it's going to be an opportunity for rest. And we really got into those, especially this month, and really that this month is really a lot of highs and lows. I mean, look at it. Look, we're starting off with the full moon in a wave. So there's a lot of opportunity this week, but it's very, I mean, not this week, I'm sorry, this month, but it's very scattered. And I also made my very first, I'm very proud of this actually.
So good.
So I would love for you guys to support me in this if you're listening.
Mhm.
My heart's, it's not in the best place, but if you would like to support me, I would really boost my ego a little bit, but not in the way that you might think. But anyways, I made these crystal grids for the first time, and I'll tell you, that was, you should try it. Like, I would love to maybe even do a class on it once I like really start getting it. I got this book. Do I have it over here? Last year, and I think it was around this time. I should go look when I bought it for all my YouTube friends. You could see it. It's
Oh,
called Sacred Geometry. Um, Artists, Dreamers, and Philosophers. I feel like this is the Sagittarius book of my dreams.
yeah.
Um, but what's beautiful is this person goes into such detail about sacred geometry and then also shows you how to design them.
Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, I had no idea why I bought this book last year. I've gone through it a few times. It was very dense. But then after um starting to work with Nina, where I was guiding her through human design, and she got I bought a couple or actually, I bought two grids from her. A crystal grid that she hand carves, and that's how she really understands. And that's why I said I really now understand the way that sacred geometry works through designing my own grids.
Mm-hmm.
And then she made me a body graph grid, which transformed my life. Like I really, it's been like that's really what's anchoring me right now is that body graph grid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I made my very first crystal grids. I wanted to give it a go for this one. Nina gave us ones for last month. We're actually wait, we still have an opportunity if you'd like to join us for our crystal
Yeah.
grid class. It's going to be this Saturday on the 10th. Um, and you can get all the details in the show notes below. But thank you for everyone that has signed up already. We're so excited that you're going to be joining us. I feel like just talking about it, my full body lights up. So I know it's going to be a phenomenal class because I have such a deep connection to sacred geometry
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the body graph, which has also sacred geometry in it. Like, look at the channels. We're going to be talking about that in the class, and we're going to be talking about the interconnection between crystal grids and human design. So if that's something that you're interested in, join us virtual or actually also in person if you're in the Asheville area. And that'll be on Saturday the 10th. And so I drew my own grids, and the first one I made, it was like a little off. And then there was also somehow I got these weird shadows on the back, and I was like, oh shit, I have to start again. My third line's like, fuck that shit up real quick. And so I was like, you can do it. My defined heart said, you can do it. You're going to try again. And so then the second one, I nailed it. I was like, wow. Like when I like
Mm-hmm.
the one where I made with all the flower patterns, when I zoomed out after I made it, I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that does look good. And then I made like a simpler one that would I would love to maybe eventually do a class on maybe teaching people how to create their own grids.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. I'm going to print those out this afternoon and use my new crystals on one of
That's
those grids.
exciting. You'll have to
Yeah,
share that so
I will.
that
Hmm.
I can at least I can see it. You can share it in your stories if you want other
Yeah,
people to see it.
I will.
Um, but yeah, so the program plus is out. We've already gotten great reviews on it for the month. It definitely deserves way more than it's gotten for this month. I know that we're probably all I don't know, buyers were like exhausted.
It's kind of gift giving season
Yeah.
to others
So
since
yeah. So if you'd like, you could even gift this to somebody. It would
yeah,
be
you
a
can.
great gift. Or you can gift us with, the exchange of us showing up week after week for you. We'd love it. So yeah. So I'm really excited about all the stuff that's going on. I'm kind of glad I was able to talk about it because it made me feel a little bit better.
Hmm.
Almost like I kind of recognized myself there for a second, which
You did.
I don't know. Projectors, I really feel like they need to properly recognize themselves
Hmm.
before they can be properly recognized from others. But, a lot of us also, like my channel of surrender is projected.
Hmm.
That's my only projected channel that I have. And there's other projected gates also. A lot of us carry, other frequencies from what would be considered another type. And I think it's important to the day that I recognized that that was a channel to be recognized was the day that honestly I was able to actually surrender to it, which is the channel of surrender, which is kind of funny. But realizing that I deserve the recognition for my value
Yeah.
because I do have a lot to give.
Hmm.
And speaking of that, before I don't want to forget because I do want we're not manifestors, and this is why I like to inform because um I remember to, and I think that it's important that we let you guys know when we're going to be absent. So we're taking a week off next week. The program will not be on where we've been coming on here for over a year now, just over a year now, week after week, sometimes twice a week. I think there might have been one time where it was three times. I don't remember. And
I think so.
we've only not shown up one time because of something that happened. We've never actually actively said, you know what, we need a break.
Hmm.
But defined hearts are here to work to rest. And I don't think we properly do that enough. And so we're taking a week off next week, so we won't be on at all. I might even take the whole week off of social media. Who knows? But I think that I need to really recognize the rest that I need right now, and also recognize the rest that Leah needs right now as well. And so we won't be on next week, but you'll get us the following week. So we hope that you have a good week the next week. And if you want to know what's happening in the transits, you know where to find it, the Program Plus. So let's go ahead and dive in for this week. So, hi there, Krystle here. I've got a few important questions to ask you, so don't fast forward this brief break during this captivating episode because I have a special opportunity for you that I am sure you won't want to miss out on. Are you a business owner, an entrepreneur, or just interested in sharing your knowledge and wisdom with the world but need a little more clarity and direction on how to get there? Well, look no further. Kayla G, spiritual mindset coach, has developed a jam-packed, fully loaded with her fear motivation and Define G, a personalized business guide on the Gene Keys called Gene Keys Business Guide. Now, I know for myself how confusing the Gene Keys can be. But the beauty of Kayla's aura is she structures the essence of the contemplative Gene Keys in a way that's tangible and brings it down to the ground floor. This is a guide for someone that's ready to take their entrepreneurial journey to the next level, and with her power view, she's here to elevate your business. So what are you getting? A 75 plus page guide in PDF form to learn how to activate your Gene Keys and your golden path. Also included is access to Kayla's 64 Gene Keys audio library, which will help you learn how to infuse your energetic imprint into your business. I mean, come on now, that sounds amazing. But wait, there's more. If you jump on her wait list now and pick up this guide between the 7th through the 31st, there are a lot of extra perks with her open heart that she's providing for you. You get the pre-sale price of only $333, and if you're on her wait list, you get an exclusive coupon for $555 for another special offer coming soon. You get priority delivery and a 1-hour group mastermind Q&A call. That's a lot of perks, baby. So if you're thinking about taking the leap to up-level your business for 2023, head on over to Kayla's website. Link in description down below, and jump on Kayla's waitlist or purchase before the 31st and upgrade your business to the next level. So we start off the beginning of the week where we were at the end of this last week that came in on Saturday. So our focus with this new program is our routines, which I feel can really provide a deeper understanding for yourself for 2023 right now. Like, this is the time to be watching, and also just after it leaves, seeing what that feels like as well. I think people kind of don't give proper recognition to what the lesson was from that placement. So really watch what happens the following week as well. So this is going to help us, is to support us for the new year. We all like to focus on our routines and habits, and right now it's in the focus. And the majority of it will be about looking at, how do I feel about my current routines? What is outdated that needs to be refreshed? What needs to go? We are being grounded in our support of those routines through our expression, really paying attention to that emotional pull that needs to be expressed about our feelings for this week. What's coming up for you? What wants to come out? What past experiences have you been going through that really is like staring you straight in the face this week? That's saying, look at me, see me, and like maybe it needs a reframe, maybe it needs to be put down. Um, and then there's a direct emotional surge to this energy right now, and it's going to feel, or has been feeling like, because it's been in for a second, how it's been feeling like an emotional roller coaster through our experiences. And we also just had Neptune go direct, which is kind of a big deal. I don't think it's going to get enough hype. So, um, this is directly connected to this energy, actually, that we actually talk about more in the program plus. So if you really want to know how this is going to directly impact you, the collective, and throughout the month, you'll definitely want to hear what we talk about that with the program plus. And we also have Mars that retrograded back into our feelings as well, that is running through the earth on Monday, that we also discuss the importance of as well in the program plus. So I'm watching through the collective, a lot of people struggling right now, including myself, with this placement. And the biggest reason I would say, if you don't have a deeper understanding of what's happening with this aspect, I highly recommend finding out, because I think that Mars retrograde right now is really everybody's struggle. And then on Tuesday, we get a love sense, a sense of love through self and direction. Love is a direction that's mixed with our truth and an awakening to ourselves just before the full moon on Wednesday, which could potentially take place also Thursday, depending on your time zone. So let's discuss that full moon. What's going on? It's inviting us to really feel into our feelings. That's going to be the number, if there was one word to describe this full moon, it's going to be feelings, which makes me so fucking nervous, because as an open the solar plexus, feelings are fucking disgusting. So, anyways, not to give you my point of view here. It's happening in the sign of Gemini. So you know that Mars is going to be playing a huge role, because we just said Mars, we've been talking about Mars retrograding in Gemini. So when you see them happening in the same time, signs, same aspects, same gates, that means they're coming together for a fucking party. Okay. So Mars is coming to rage for this full moon. And especially because it's been retrograding back into this frequency, and what it's inviting us to do is to communicate our feelings to those that need to feel it. And we still have the full frequency with this also, by the way, that may be a little bit of disillusionment on what we are even going to be feeling during this full moon. You might not even know what the words are, but they might even be sitting right there waiting to be released. And maybe they're not going to be fully expressed on the full moon. It could be a couple days after, it could be a week after, it could be one morning when you're sitting out there on your front porch and you're looking out at the street, and all of a sudden, like, shit hits you. You don't know when this shit's going to come in. Okay. So look at where you were the last 6 months. What seeds did you plant during that time? What goals did you have? And were they achieved? How can you talk about them now? Remember, Gemini is a mutable air sign. So take a look at where you have Gemini in your chart. What house does it fall in? We provided a house placement cheat sheet. That's a really great reference in the Program Plus for this month. That's brand new to the Program Plus. And so see what house this is in. See what planets you have Gemini in. And if you got the Program Plus, look and see what gate we talked about all of this is in. And do you have it in your chart? Or do you have the other half? So this is kind of a way you can personalize it, because we're talking about here on the program the collective. Now you might have some of these aspects that we're talking about, but if you don't know how they're like directly impacting you on a personal level, then you might not be able to have a deeper understanding of it. There's always a lesson in it and somewhere. So that's what's happening for the full moon. So it's really asking you, in a nutshell, to communicate your feelings, which nobody fucking wants to do. Nobody. If we knew how to fucking communicate our feelings, could we imagine what the world could be? Anyways, that was my desire coming out. Anyways, late Thursday, early Friday, depending on where you are in the world, we get a new program that's supplying more heart energy. The open undefined hearts are going to be exhausted by the end of this. I'm just like waiting. I'm watching all of them right now saying, oh my God, I started a new routine. Oh my God, I can't believe I just worked out 3 days in a row. And I'm like, Bish, you better recognize that this is momentarily and don't beat yourself up when it goes out. I feel like I watch a lot of open undefined hearts beat themselves the fuck up when the heart is no longer defined through the transits. And that's why it's extremely important to know what's happening in the cosmos, because then you can surrender to it. Then you can have acceptance in it. That's what I feel like the transits really help us do. Speaking of gate 25, it really allows us to have acceptance in this is what's going to fucking happen, bitch. So you need to allow it. What could like allow yourself to accept, you know what, maybe I don't have that heart anymore. Maybe now I can give myself the rest that it needs. So, anyways, back to the focus of this week. So the focus of this program will be about the heart and our ego, which is really about the power to control memory. And we've been experiencing this energy running through other parts of the program. And it's really inviting us to look back at our past memory. This is what I was talking about with the South Node. Look back at our past patterns. This is all going to be connected, um, happening this week at the end of this week. So past patterns, just see where you can sell to the tribe, sell to your community. How can we provide through not making the same fucking mistakes anymore so we can be grounded in some more heart energy, almost very close. There's a lot of emphasis on the heart because what's grounding us is the expression, reaching for the heart. How can you then direct that memory that will then provide for the tribe? So, a real heart centered end of the week is going to be happening. There's going to be a lot of focus on the ego and the material world between this last week and the current week that we're in.
Are you good?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I just am like mind blown because the cards always say and confirm the things that you're saying. Um, I pulled the judgment card.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's literally everything you just said. So, past lives, things that are coming up, these are like things that didn't work. The people on the bottom are kind of like creeping up from the ground. They're like, we call it like there's a couple cards that I have that they're pictures of people coming out of like garden beds. They call it like a worm's eye view. Like we don't have a view of everything that we can actually see. We just see all the things that have been in our past. We see all the things that haven't been working, things that are trying to kind of push themselves back up, but those aren't the things that we should be focusing on. I want to read from a book here. It says, that the interpretation of this is liberation and newfound freedom. So, looking inside yourself to find your true path and discover what it is that you're on this planet to achieve. This is not about changing your ways and not blaming anyone and not even blaming yourself for your past mistakes. It is time for honesty, both with others and more importantly with yourself. You said that with communication. And focus your energies on your crown chakra, and you will find a new wisdom of spiritual awakening, leading to a rebirth of ideas and projects. And then it says to embrace these opportunities and don't let your fears stop you from moving forward. So I thought that was a really powerful thing, like, and allowing us to like feel where we are, just feel and live where you are exactly right now or throughout this week. And you don't have to like put any sort of like attachment to it. Just allow yourself to be where you are and move through this feeling. And then, like you said, communicate with somebody who you have, that connection with, that, you can talk about that. I know for myself, like I don't talk about my feelings ever. It's the worst thing. But when I do, I feel a million times better. I'm like, that feels a lot better. Like I got that out. I was holding on to it for so long that I was feeling like I was drowning myself instead of letting the feelings go. And then that really, like, there was no reason for me to not say something in the first place. Like, it's just silly that I don't do it. Anyway, so it's
Well,
hard for
it's
myself
like
too.
when you can finally release those feelings through words, it
Mm-hmm.
almost like dismantles them. Like
Mhm.
it takes the power. Like you
Yes.
because when we hold it inside, that's that it has power over us
Mhm.
because the feelings are being restricted, right?
Right.
And so and that's why we have the channel of transitoriness. Oh my God, I
Mhm.
fucking said it.
You said
I
it.
always fumble over that fucking channel. Um, but that's why we have it.
Mhm.
It if you look at it, it's emotions being expressed through words.
Yeah.
It's a manifested channel. So it's like and what it's asking for is a chance to go through the actual experience so that it knows how it actually feels so that it can reach that form of clarity through experience.
Mhm. Mm.
And so I've been in full contemplation about that too, since we've been experiencing that as well right now. And we're going to get the full essence of it
Yeah.
through the full moon.
Mhm.
And so I'm just like, well, this is the shit show I'm in right now. So,
Here we are.
and
Oh, yeah. So that's a good card. That just solidifies everything. The second one I pulled from the Work Your Light deck is Answer the Call. This is, what is your soul calling you to do? Your guidance is divinely guided. You are being called to answer the call of your soul. It might be scary, it might not make sense, but if you trust your soul's yearnings, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing, rather a lifelong dance. Deep down, you already know what you long for and what your soul yearns for. Whatever you are called to do, that is your calling. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission. Just say yes. Most people are waiting for a step-by-step plan before they take the first step. Hi, that's me. But intuition doesn't work like that. It takes faith and courage to answer the call of your soul. And that's why most people don't do it. But you're not most people. You're exactly in the right place to answer your calling now. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't need to know where it's leading. You don't need to know anything else to take the next step. No one else has ever had a perfect, complete plan, and there is no end destination. And there's also no right or wrong way to do it. So you don't need permission from anybody else. Sometimes more resistance we have around answering a soul calling is more important to do for your soul's growth. So contemplate that. What is your soul calling you to do?
fucking this. And that's why I haven't quit.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're here.
There's been nothing easy about this, but it's also been a beautiful experience
Mm-hmm.
to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's partly why I'm feeling very Daria right now. And so my mind wants me to apologize to everybody for probably everything I just said this entire show. Because people don't want to hear from me, my transference says. And also when we're not in a good mood, people don't like when a lot of times can't handle when people are feeling down. And including myself, it's hard to hold space when someone feels low. And I feel like the transits are really offering me a chance, especially since Pluto retrograded back into the 60, which is my unconscious moon,
Mm-hmm.
to look at all the roadblocks
Mm-hmm.
that we're facing right now. And when I mix that with my um with my Pluto, um it's about a fear of death and that what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
That's what that's the low end of that gate. What's the fucking point? And so part of me is asking that right now. What's the fucking point of all this? And I don't know.
But we're showing up here just to kind of show you guys like our experience, how we kind of translate that through the transits, like how we're experiencing life in itself. Because
Yes.
if we don't express at least some portion of that and let people know, it's maybe you're running a business and you're like, why do I feel like this?
Yeah, why is everything kind of not working right now? Because
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
sometimes it can feel that way. Not everything is going to be all rainbows and sunshine, even though we want it to be.
Yeah, and someday it's like there was a bunch of like beautiful opportunities this week,
Yeah.
but because there was so much bullshit at the same time, it's like our minds will gravitate to the
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to sit in our shit. We just do. And so I feel like I want to be as real with you guys as possible. I
Hmm.
want you to know that yes, we are going to sell to you really valuable offers that are really tools to transform your life. That's what we create, are tools to transform your life for you to live a better life.
Hmm.
That's what my incarnation cross is all geared towards, that love of self, my conscious son. And Leah has is the cross of the four ways. So it's almost like together we're helping you find direction
Hmm.
through love back to yourself.
Hmm.
And that's the sole purpose of our business. So we hope that you see us. And if you don't, that's okay too. I guess probably don't be here.
I don't know
I
why it would be.
I yeah, it's like why would you take in
Do
this much
content.
content if you
Yeah.
people that hate
It's
follow. And
fine.
before we go, I just want to say something. My desire wants to come out for a second. Power view. People that hate follow and that like to watch people out of envy or jealousy, or like you just have some sort of like projection. It's really that's all it is, because it's
Hmm.
something that you need to accept in yourself.
Hmm.
I've accepted that that's what happens when this happens for me.
Hmm.
But it's like stop wasting your fucking time doing that shit. I hope you guys aren't, but if you are, you're wasting your time. You have so much better use of your time than to
Yeah.
be watching or consuming content from people that you don't actually like or resonate with. I started blocking and removing people that I know, whether I've communicated with them or also people that are haunting me. I don't Do not follow me if you don't want to support me in whatever way. It does not have to be monetary. It could be a share, it could be a like, it could
Hmm.
be a comment. You could DM me. Like if you're not supporting me, I don't want you here. And for us too, we want people. We want to build a fucking heart-centered community that wants to support each other. That is my dream, and I will make it happen. And if that is not your dream to do that with us, then I invite you to go find someone where you feel that connection with.
Yeah. There's
You do,
plenty of people that you might find connection with.
yeah.
That's okay.
So yeah, this is part of my self love, and
Yeah.
so I have to look at all of this right now.
Hmm.
So we hope that you were able to hold the space for us as we've been holding for you. And again, we will not be here next week. We'll see you the following week. And we hope you have a good rest of these next 2 weeks. And we'll see you over on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Krystle and I are really here as defined hearts to provide value to you with our unique insights. If you have found any of this episode valuable to you, we ask that you share with a friend, tag us with a highlight on Instagram, and write us a review so we can reach more people. Human design and astrology are tools to guide us toward our transformation. You are a unique and beautiful being, and we encourage you to let that light inside of you shine bright. See you in the next episode, friends.